All right, so I'm gonna show you guys how to fix your grain cart wiring harness. Basically what you wanna do on your grain cart is you've got your black sheath right here. I'm just using a simple set of wire strippers. I'm just taking it, you're not cutting all the way through. So the first process I wanna show you is this has a shield inside. So I'm just basically scoring it back and forth. I'm gonna pull and it'll come off. All right, so you should see in there the silver. You're gonna twist as you pull this off, that comes off. All right, there is a shield wire that wraps around, okay? That's important, you're gonna need that. Then you just have this aluminum, which you can just kind of twist, rub your fingers a little bit, and it'll open up. And then you'll have all your wires, okay? You have red, black, green, and white. And then you have this, which is called the shield wire. Again, this is also important. All we're gonna do is you're gonna use your 18 or your 20 gauge on your wire strippers, and you wanna strip off about an inch. You can go to knuckle, but you want a pretty good amount off each one of these, okay? You're gonna twist these together and we're gonna solder them. So we're gonna pull a decent amount off of each one. All right, and you're gonna do it on both sides. When you cut into this, if you have rust, if you have anything that is discolored, if you have fraying, anything like that, you want to cut clean. You should have plenty of length, cut clean and start over, okay? If at any point you cut the wires and you've got a wire that's sticking out more than the other or one's too short, again, start all over. All of these need to be the same length, okay? Once you do that, you're gonna wrap heat shrink around each individual one. All right, this will come in your kit. This is 1/8 inch heat shrink. You need a 2-to-1 or a 3-to-1 to heat shrink. Either one is fine. I cut a decent chunk off. I do probably 5-6 inches. The reason why is you need the heat shrink to be on, and when you solder it, if you have this really short, the heat transfers when you solder and it will start to melt these, and then you don't have a way to protect it. This needs to be a waterproof, weatherproof, dustproof when you're all the way done. So you're gonna need to strip a decent amount back. 1/8 inch heat shrink. We're gonna twist these together and I'll show you right here. It's pretty simple. We're just doing like green to green. I'm twisting them together. Okay, you can pull on them a little bit, but they'll probably still separate. You don't need to go crazy on any of this stuff. You can do these one at a time. You can do them all at once. It really doesn't matter. I'm just gonna do 2 for like a quick demonstration and then try and push the rest of these wires kind of out of the way here so we can see what we're doing. Pull those back. All right. White and green will be the first 2 that we're gonna do. I've preheated up my soldering iron. This comes in your kit. You just need a little bit of solder. If you touch it and it melts, it's warm, right? That's all you gotta know. So if we come in here, you're gonna take your soldering iron and you're gonna put it right on the wire. And then as you come to it, it will jump too, okay? You're gonna need to hold it on that wire for a minute because you have to heat up the wire enough for the solder to take. If it hasn't, it won't join, okay? And then this is kind of like painting. You just kind of move it back and forth, or brazing if you've ever done that, or maybe some welding. You just move it back and forth and you'll get a nice coat on both sides. Then from there, I can do my next one. Again, I'm gonna hold it on there for just a second, like if you've never soldered. And you're gonna add some, like if it's not going on, then once you get like a decent amount on your soldering iron, you can then just hold it or put it on top and it will transfer down. This one might need a little bit more, but you can see there's some on there. So to finish that off, I'm just gonna do a little bit more because that's really not enough. You just want a good coating on there and it should be silver. All right. You're gonna do that to all of the different wires, one at a time. Leave your heat shrink alone. When you're done, you can, and these cool, like here on this green one, you can see I've kind of got this big gap. I can take my pliers and you can just squeeze that and you can smash all that together, okay? So if you've got something that's ugly or kind of sticking out or is sharp, you want to smash that with your pliers. We don't want, as this is rubbing, that sharp thing to come through the heat shrink and defeat the entire purpose. Okay, from there, just move your heat shrink on, and I do all of these simultaneously. So I'm gonna do my white, then my green, then you'll do your red and black. You leave shield off. Shield you do last. Grab a torch, lighter, whatever you have, and you're just applying some heat. It shrinks around. What this is doing is you're making a watertight connection, and you have to have that. How these things work is it's measuring resistance going through the wire. So we send a small amount of amps with a really small amount of voltage across there. If you have water which conducts electricity, it changes the resistance, which means your weights will be way off. Once that's done, you'll have this right here, which I've got some on, so you can see I have several different pieces. I am going to hook up my shield wire. Again, you twist it together, solder that, and then you have your 3/8. I did the color red just to make it like where it's like very visible to see. But you're gonna squeeze this down and it needs to go over your first piece. You're gonna melt this one down, then do your next, your next, your next, until you have a complete gap that covers from one end to the other, okay? Do not put all 5 on and try and do them all at once. That will not work. Do one, melt it down, the next one goes over top. So when you get to the very end, they have all sealed against all of them, and you have a clean connection across the entire thing. Good luck, call us with questions.